Everybody, Chris and Lumen back again. I don't usually do 2 videos a day, but things are piling up, and this one probably shouldn't take too long. But it's definitely something interesting, maybe clear the palate from the old face hugger video or whatnot. So it's been a while since we talked about any kind of time frames when we might possibly get out of here, but it just came up again. Very interesting synchronicity. First and foremost, I'm through freaking bitter experience, I know it is not a good idea to get hung up on a date. That being said, it's only got to be right once. And the way that I understand things, even though I don't understand very much at all when it comes to this, because when it comes to this game, I've had hours-long conversations with my friends, and we've tried to map this, how we think this thing works out, and it's just hyper freaking complicated. I believe that exit doors open up every so often for certain people, and you just don't see it. It's kind of like, oh, there was some movie where like doors opened up, but people couldn't see what the doors actually were. There's a way that the world hides the exits from you, so you never see it. But I base everything on my own personal experience. It's the only thing that I can trust. And the way she taught me and what she taught me. And she's got a very, very specific way of teaching me. She's all too good at bringing things up ahead of time. So you think you're talking about something because it's the new thing, but you don't realize that it's actually part of something bigger yet to come. And that's what we have here. So I have been, for the last week or so, I've been doing the microdosing in the morning. Just one piece of mushroom chocolate. It's not enough to trip, but usually it helps you tap in. And I hadn't been getting much from it. Probably because I've been primarily focused on the brimstone stuff. But last night I switched it up and wore this to bed in the morning. So this is a new one. It's a new variant on the Divine Feminine Energy, Sophia, Wisdom, because I got some new material. Whoops, my friend Dawn picked this up at the Tucson show. That's called Scolasite. It's one of the Synergy 12 stones. It's a lot like Naturalite, but it's smoother. But it's a high frequency. It's perfect for like a high frequency connection, Divine Feminine type pendant. So I tried wearing that instead. And the stuff that I got this morning, I'm trying to recall it. Like, how did I even get on this tack? I don't know. But something came up that drew my attention to April 20th and how it connects to things that we've been doing and talking about on this channel here lately. So even if April 20th or a couple days to in front isn't like the thing, it's definitely like a time frame marker, possibly. And it ties back to when this all started in April, or well, actually it was before April. It was probably early March of 2023. And that was when she started a countdown timer. That's when she first started to be like, you need to get people together and just start preparing them, getting them ready, which is mainly just teaching you how to clear things out. But she started a countdown timer that was very specific, and that was April 20th. Well, here we are 2 years later, and suddenly this April 20th has a little bit extra to it. It's not a whole bunch. It's not something I could talk for an hour about, but it's worth noting. So if you want to know more, don't go away.
You can't tempt me when she is beside me. Your cup does not impress me. Drink your poison yourself.
Okay, so it all started back in early 2023. Back then, we were doing a lot more with the secret tarot map that she revealed to me that is as far up until, like, if there was another one, I haven't seen it, but I think it's only in 2 decks. It's in the original Rider-Waite Tarot, and it's also in a deck called the Modern Spellcasters Tarot. And whoever did the artwork for the Modern Spellcasters Tarot clearly knew the hidden symbology of the Rider-Waite, and it added extra context to it. And she was teaching me what all this secret stuff was. So this was, like I said, within a month and a half of her suddenly getting animated about, it's time to get ready for this game to close. And one thing in particular she showed me, I don't remember how it came about, it had to do with the World card in this deck. Now, the World card is the card of completion. So if there's any such thing as, like, getting to the end, it's the World card. And what she ended up showing me was specifically about what you got up here at the top. So you've got symbols for spring and summer, Taurus and Aries up there. And then in the center, what looks like an eclipse, but it's a weird one. So what we found was in 2023, there was an eclipse. It was a hybrid eclipse. I can't explain to you what that freaking means. I don't even remember. But it was a hybrid eclipse that fell on April 20th. And April 20th is the day in which, which one's which? I forget. Okay, Aries comes first. So April 20th is when Aries transitions into Taurus. Okay. And Aries is a fire sign and Taurus is an earth sign. And they change over on April 20th. In that year, there was a hybrid eclipse on April 20th. Now, there's a reason why she paired me up with an astrologer, because you need one. It's part of it. And using her software, we determined, like, there wasn't any time in the foreseeable future when there was going to be that kind of a specific eclipse lining up on that particular freaking day. So the time that she was showing me, like, that was the year that it showed up. So hybrid eclipse right there in the center between Taurus and Aries, which means hybrid eclipse on April 20th. And that happened in 2023. And she indicated that this was kind of like the beginning of a countdown timer. Now, when you're following her long map, you're generally looking forward to, like, what are the big things coming up ahead of you. You don't know how long it actually goes. So we kind of assumed at the time that the countdown timer was 1 year, because halfway through that cycle was the October 2023 Ring of Fire eclipse. And then 6 months later, then you had the Great American Eclipse, which I saw that one. Where I sit was literally like on the razor's edge of totality. I could have went a little bit forward and seen totality, but she said, stay where I'm at.
It's freaking dark.
Yeah, really.
She's almost gone. Holy. Just a sliver.
Oh.
Just a sliver.
Oh. So, and that was weird. Talk about some weird freaking energy. That thing was weird. Okay, so obviously we didn't get out of here at that point, but it did shake a lot of things up. Okay, so okay, whatever, go on. Maybe it was nothing. But now here we are 2 years later. And suddenly this April 20th is coming up again. Again, I don't remember how I got on this morning. I was barely tapped in and I got in the flow and this all kind of came together all at once. But once again, April 20th is when Taurus and Aries meet, Earth and fire. What energies have we been working with lately? Volcanic energies, brimstone, spiritual purification, and the significance of it. She started that. She brought it up one day, and I just followed along. She's like, get the sulfur quartz. I only had a little bit at that time, and then I had to order more. And then she just had me order 4 freaking pounds of it. So yeah, like $250 worth of that. That's what's on the way, not counting what I've already bought. She does things in stages. Like for a while, she's got everybody doing like the liquid crystal core stuff, like accumulative, that sort of energy. When we moved into the brimstone, this was new. I had to learn about it. She had to show me, like, this is like a specific type of thing. And it is something that happens that you have to do. It's a purification you have to do to get into the next world. We just did a video about that right here. Not as many people watched it, but we talk about what that means, the brimstone. Okay, fire and earth, brimstone, volcanoes. Sorry, as I was saying, we've had the focus on the volcanoes, the focus on the earthquakes, the focus on the brimstone, the illumination of the brimstone being the purifying spiritual fire necessary to move on to the next thing. And then what I saw today, which tied everything back to the beginning. What is it about April 20th? So I think it was more in 2023 and maybe a little bit in 2024, but definitely 2023. There was some kind of focus that she was putting on me with Easter. And I remember, the only thing I vaguely remember about 2023 was there was also a whole bunch of symbology and connection to the Wizard of Oz, which is what's funny about that is it's one of those movies that they typically play on Easter, which deals with the girl getting sucked through the energy vortex and ending up in another place. Because that's what tornadoes are. Energy vortexes. Could be wormholes. We don't know. But there was focus on Easter then. And what I just happened to notice, I don't remember how I got there, but this year, Easter falls on April 20th. So now you got the trifecta all lining up. And what else is it about Easter? Okay. Please don't lecture me, school me about, pagan holidays and this, that, and the other thing. The puzzle pieces are given out to you in accordance with your puzzle. But actually, it's kind of like Easter weekend because you got Good Friday and then you've got Easter. It's the death and resurrection of Christ, or the Christ within us. Now, I am of the opinion that the crucifixion death of Christ is a metaphorical story. Or maybe it's both. I don't know. But there are elements in it that are clearly talking about something internal. So what are some of the main key things that a lot of people forget and overlook when it comes to the crucifixion story? What happened? The first thing is darkness covered the land. And what's strange about this is it actually gives like a specific time frame. like from noon to 3 p.m. The sky turned black. Jesus cried out and died. He spoke final words, including "It is finished," then surrendered his spirit. Here's the part that's internal, but everyone just treats it like it's, something physical. The temple veil tore in two. The curtain in the temple separating the Holy of Holies was torn from top to bottom, symbolizing open access to God. I believe that is in here. An earthquake occurred. The ground shook, rocks split, and some tombs opened up. And then some saints rose from the dead. Some believers were resurrected and appeared to many. So just in the crucifixion story, you've got the sky turning black, the surrendering of the spirit, the internal veil separating you from God tearing, an earthquake, and other people being resurrected. That's kind of like a micro metaphor for like the end thing. And before I go any further with this, this is one of the reasons that I believe that the end of the world, end of the game does not happen for everybody on earth at the same time. Now, hear me out. From my standpoint, it is objectively observable that we cannot all be in the same world the same way, lined up with the same things. We're not all seeing the same things. We're at different parts of our path. I believe that the apocalyptic door opening is individually based, but could also be other people associated with whatever individuals when these doors open. And the way that I think that would work is kind of like the quantum jumping hidden door thing, where certain people that are going to get on the exit ramp quantum jump to another version of Earth, which we've covered that. So they see events take place that everyone else does not. And for the people that are not seeing it, they probably just see another version of you. And things just keep going, or you drop dead, or who the hell knows. Because it's like there's a different version of you in all these parallel worlds, but it's like the soul consciousness that hops between the two of them. I think if you were going to get on the exit ramp, you and whoever else is going on the exit ramp with you kind of quantum jump to what I call Apocalypse Earth. Like this is the final show that you see. But if the other people aren't at that place to do it, they're never going to see that. They stay on, the one that they're at. That's the thing that makes the most sense to me. Okay? So once again, lining this up, she started everything in 2023 saying get people ready, and it started with April 20th. Now here we are 2 years later in April, and the Easter stuff, but they were not that day back then. This year they are. April 20th is Easter. Taurus and Aries, fire and earth. All this stuff lining up. So immediately what I did, once I saw that stuff, so I'm like, well, I better get a hold of my astrologer friend and see if there's anything else interesting on that date. So I messaged her. She's like, oh yeah, there is. Call me. And she talked her astrologer talk, which I only half understood, but there's one part that I did. So she was talking about something about Venus and Saturn conjunct with the North Node in Pisces, which is fate. And so that is the goddess, and in some cases the male god, but that's not the main thing because I don't fully understand that one. But she did say it was significant in terms of like course correction. What did stand out to me is there is a square, or is that the word? Yeah, because it's all angulars, 90-degree angles, of the Sun, Mars, and Pluto. So the Sun represents soul. That's why it's called that. Mars represents fiery action. And Pluto represents transformation and also death and rebirth. So you got soul, fiery action, and transformation, death, and rebirth all lined up with one another on the day that we're shifting from Aries to Taurus, fire and earth, on Easter, which has all the same symbols, darkness covering the lamp, the spirit leaving, the veil being torn, earthquakes, and resurrections. That's an awful lot of stuff stacking up at the same time. Now, if that wasn't enough, then you have to backtrack and look at where did she guide us up to this point before knowing about it. To the brimstone, which we have not been drawn to work with the entire time. Like, I only made something with this like once. I tried adding it to like a personal power illuminator type pendant, but it didn't feel like it was the right use. She didn't reveal the right use for this until like a couple weeks ago. And then I got to experience how freaking powerful it is. It is crazy. It is the spiritual fire purification energy that the souls have to go through to do the final purification to get out of this place. And now she's putting all these things together, lining them up, while I still have a couple pounds of this stuff. And she's like, this is your primary focus. Keep making these. Keep making the purification pendants. So she must want me to make a bunch of them. And by the time I get them, I would have about, a month between the time that I get the next batch. Of course, I still have some here. I still got plenty, but I got more coming. But this is what she's focusing on. She's focusing on the brimstone energy, the spiritual purification fire energy, before all this other stuff lines up. Okay, I wasn't looking for this. It just kind of like unfolded. There was some other stuff this morning, but I don't fully remember it. But there was a couple things that came up in a couple conversations. One was me when I said something about we get out the same way we came in, but I was focusing on a specific like trauma point. And then someone else mentioning spiritual divine feminine stuff. It's like, look, women have freaking portals in them. Okay, that's how we come in. That's how our souls come in here, to be born. I don't think I have to spell that out for you, do I? But that also is why this place is called the Matrix, because matrix means womb, her womb, that we grow in until we're ready to be born, or rather reborn. Or they say born again. Because truth be told, we covered this like a little over a year ago. It would have to be like in the April timeframe of last year, all the stuff about Sophia in the womb and the matrix. But it's like, that's technically where we are, doing all this growth stuff until it's time for us to be born into the right world. Okay, and then when that popped up, I was remembering that puzzle that's in the Gospel of Thomas that I recently mentioned, where he's like, when you make the two into one, you make the upper like the lower, and the lower like the upper, and the inner like the outer. And it started off with the the apostles asking Jesus about getting into the next world or something like that. And he pointed at some nursing babies and he said, those babies are like those who will enter the kingdom. And I always wondered about that. But maybe how it actually works, I don't know. I'm just putting puzzle pieces together. Is maybe when we do leave here, we are born again through Sophia, but when the world that we're born into isn't this one. It's the upper one. It's the one that doesn't have the corruption. Like maybe we are literally born as babies in there again, because he said that. Become like children. That was a big thing. But I don't know. It's something that I'm looking at. I don't want to pull too hard at the string because it'll confuse things. I'm just going to let it go and see what else comes up. And also, what I can do is kind of think back and maybe dig back into my channel and see what else I was talking about then. Because I only remembered that as I was doing this video, that around that time frame, there was a focus on Easter. But it didn't line up until now. This year, it lines up on April 20th. And all this other stuff is happening. And the big thing is like she's got us working with the brimstone. She's like the purification energy. So I would think like the people, there's been a huge rush on these. Like I just shipped 11 packages yesterday or today or whenever they went out. And I got like freaking 7 more. I got a package up. I've never seen, I've done a lot of different types of pendants, but people seem to be intuitively drawn to these ones, which tells me she's doing it, which tells me if she's got you wanting to work with like the lava bombs or the Aegis Infernos or anything with the brimstone in it, it's like this, the brimstone is a final purification. So those would be, I'm thinking outside the box. I don't know anything for certain until it happens. But maybe these people that are being drawn to that are people that are most likely to jump on the exit ramp with me. It's one thing I'm sure of. I just know it at a deep level. The stuff that's in the non-commodity and stuff like that, where it's like, those that figure out the meanings of these mysteries will not taste death. We're not going to die like normal people. We're going to transition, get out, solve this game, however that works. There's not much else I can do. Like I have literally done everything. I've done all the alchemical stuff. I've put the masculine and feminine back together. I've done all the baptism, the secret Gnostic baptism, chrism, all the apostle stuff. It's just a matter of, okay, well, look at what the last video was about. The Archon facehuggers. It was the main underlying theme was you have to detach from the world. You have to stop taking sides. You have to realize the whole thing is tainted. You're not better than someone else because you're on Team Trump, or you're not holier than thou because you're on Team not Trump. If you're engaging in this divisive us against them, good against evil, and I'm the good guy mentality, you haven't learned, not yet. So everything that she's taught us and everything that she's led us to has been on a specific trajectory, a specific path. And when it's time, she folds other people in too. Like she had me promote Kenneth's channel, Mystic Messenger, because he gets things from different angles, but I know he's talking to the same thing. Like she was very, very clear about that. That's why I reference him all the time. He's got pieces of the puzzles too, and a lot, not always, but sometimes bigger videos that he does lines up with something that I happen to be doing the exact same day. So it is, all I'm saying is it is possible that there is another possible exit ramp juncture point coming up which would be sometime in late April, around the 20th. At the very least, it's a time post marker. There's always at least that to let you know you're still going in the right direction. So just stuff to think about, wanted to share. That's all I got for right now. So we did another video. If you want to get in touch with us, get any of the brimstone stuff, you can reach us through the Etsy store, clumencreations.etsy.com. There's a certain type of them that you want that I might just not have listed at the moment. Just message me, because I'm constantly making them. Plus I can make them any certain way. Oh, that reminds me. Where is that? Oh, here it is. See if I can find. So I think I'm going to start folding in another stone in these formulas. Like I said, she gives you pieces of the puzzle before you need them. So since I've been doing all these lava bomb type pendants, a friend of mine sent me a picture. She's like, have you ever worked with this stone? This might be good because of what it's got in it. And it's a stone called Euperlite. I'm like, yeah, I got some of that recently. I was drawn to get it, but when I got it, I didn't know what to do with it. I'm like, I don't feel like the descriptions of the stone match what it's actually for. So a lot of times when there's a newer stone, people just like throw shit against the wall and see what sticks. Like, oh, this one's going to help you do this. And it's like, this don't feel right. This does something different. So Euperlite is an igneous type stone. There's another word, but I forget what it is. There's two different types of, there's like igneous rock that is lava that, you know, gets above the ground, and there's igneous rock where magma cools under the ground. This is an under the ground one. But this stuff has inclusions of a type of sodalite that is somehow infused with sulfur. So what it does, can't see it as much with the light, but when you put it under UV, it like glows orange, like a glowing lava color. So an igneous rock falls under that category of can be used in this formula. But also, I didn't know about the sulfur thing. I thought she was wrong till I dug deeper and found that, yeah, the sodalite inclusions have some sort of sulfur content or component to it. And that is what makes it glow orange under UV light, which UV is connected to her. I'm like, I think she just popped that into your head to tell me to start using this. Because I got it, it's been sitting over here the whole freaking time. I got a bag of this Euperlite. I wish you could see it as clearly, because it looks a lot cooler, but it doesn't show up on the screen as much. This orange glow, this lava colored glow. So this stone must go with this formula. And that's why she had me get it. But I didn't do anything with it up to this point because I didn't know what it was for until now. So glad I remembered that, so I can start working with that tonight. I'll make a new pendant and test it out and see what that's up. But that's clumencreations.etsy.com. Lumen's music you can find on our SoundCloud links in the description box below. Chris and Lumen. See you next time. Hopefully see you on the exit ramp too.